Okay, we are rolling. Hello everyone. Welcome back to another video. Uh what I wanted to talk about this time around is mm, the use of PEDs, performance enhancing drugs, especially when it comes to um, for bodybuilding or getting that beautiful physiques because although I myself haven't taken it, I've definitely been influenced by other people who have done so. Uh, if you are into the bodybuilding, the bodybuilding community, you know that right now there's like a rampant movement of teenagers using PEDs in order to look more aesthetic, right? And for the longest time, as a teenager myself who wants to look aesthetic, I've also considered the use of performance enhancing drugs as a way to skip, basically skip past the time commitment that one would need to put into the gym in order to look that good. And and I almost did, honestly. There are people on, Instagram, TikTok, and also YouTube Short, or just YouTube in general, telling telling people about peptides right now. That's a very popular trend right now, right? Because peptides are seen as kind of this miracle injection where if you inject it, you'll get amazing recovery or you'll build muscle mass with no consequences, right? And yeah, uh, there doesn't seem to be any side effect right now, but there there is definitely a mental like side effect to this whole thing. Um, and I've kind of seen this pattern with a lot of people and a lot of my friends who have touched or have used consistently peptides or TRT tests, things like that, right? And I look at them, and yes, I do envy them for having a very, very aesthetic physique, typically in like a year or less, right? It builds a lot of muscle, build a lot. Oh my god, I can't. Sorry. It builds a lot of muscle, and yeah, you can basically skip past that time. But what other people miss about taking this short way out instead of just actually putting in the work is that you don't work yourself up here. You don't progressively overload yourself up here, right? Where your mind is. And a part of getting a good physique, that triple A physique, the V taper, is getting that confident, right? Getting that confidence up here to know that you're that guy, you're that person who has their shit together, who's disciplined, who went through all of that pain, who had to get all of their meals in, had to keep their macros on track, had to go for that run, right? Your body represents your discipline and your hard work. And what started to happen was that well, at least I start to see a very big disconnect where people look amazing, but they don't have that confidence in themselves. So they chase more. They chase more muscle. They take more peptides. They take more tests, thinking that it's going to somehow magically solve all of their problems, but that isn't the case at all. A story time, a little bit of a story time. I won't name the person, but I have a friend who was very big on bodybuilding. Right now I'm in college, but this conversation, or I knew this guy back in high school, right? Very into bodybuilding. Um, all he really cared about was benching more and more, like getting heavier lifts. And that was all he cared about, you know? He didn't care to work on his mental. He didn't really have a reason for why he was working out. So what started happening? He never felt any less insecure about how he looked. He just kept going. Eventually, he found out about PEDs, you know? Uh PEDs, not just tests or TRT or peptides, but also stimulants. And stimulants are actually not that bad if you don't overdo it like caffeine. But then this guy started taking like 1,000 milligrams of caffeine of pre-workout in his pre-workout, and also popping a Zyn. If you don't know what a Zyn is, you can search it up. It's like a nicotine pouch that you use to give you. Mm, I don't know. I've never used this, so I can't speak on that. But essentially, he dig himself into this hole where he would always chase more. He always wanted more. But the problem is there was no end goal. What was the end goal here? You know? And that started projecting on the way he carried himself and how he spoke to other people. Whenever he'd speak to either me or any of my friend who also likes to go to the gym, who also likes to bodybuild, it felt like a desperate call to be validated for his hard work. All of his conversation starter was, "Yo, look at this video. I benched 315. I can squat 405 now. Isn't that cool?" And then I'd be like, "Yeah, that's really impressive because I myself can't do that in the gym. I just started and um I'm not on any PEDs right now." But I tell him, "Yeah, that's really cool. Uh, but have you started doing anything else lately?" And he said, "No, not really. Um, my sleep is still kind of messed up. I'm on like 1,000 milligrams of caffeine." And then he'd make like a sarcastic joke about it, saying how, "Ha ha 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 ha, my life is so cooked, but at least I can bench 405 now, or squat 405 now, right?" And that kind of got me thinking, right? This guy looks amazing, but would I trade places with him? And I realized that very quickly, almost instantaneously, that the answer was no. I wouldn't trade my life for his at all, even though he objectively can lift more than me. And so I I didn't get on PEDs, right? Despite what social media was telling me to do. Instead, I started just working on my mental self and then changing my own identity of who I want to be and what kind of person I am inside, learning to be okay with myself. This is also how you get over your height insecurity. Matter of fact, like any other insecurity, maybe you have, I don't know, you have like a beauty mark somewhere on your face and then you really hate it and everyone always made fun for it of you for it. Maybe you have a scar. I have a scar. Look. Oh, I have a scar right there. And whenever I take off my beanie, people would always notice. Um, People always ask me, "Oh, what happened here? Did you get like sliced or something?" They make like this joke, but then because I myself overcame that insecurity and was okay with myself, no, was okay with it, it didn't really bother me. I just laugh it off and just continue with my day. And then I realized that PEDs was the same thing. It it was is being sold as a solution to an insecurity, your body dysmorphia. That's why you have 18-year-olds who goes on Instagram and then look at physiques like Alex Eubank, David Lade, um, Joseph Shin. And then they look at their own body, even though objectively they look very good. We're talking about people who have years in the gym. They look very good, but they haven't worked up here. So they're never okay with yourself. They're always chasing for more. Then PEDs came in, and then it was sold as the miracle, the solution to all of their problems. But they just end up wanting more and more and more after that. And I'm very glad that I didn't take PEDs. I was very close to ordering peptides off of a Chinese manufacturers online. I'll be fully transparent, okay? I'm 18 right now. I have a lot of insecurities. My height, my body, this scar that I'm not fully over with. But I have to learn to continue living with all of those things, you know? And carry a confidence in myself. That's also this is a tangent, but um that's also a very big factor in dating as well. If you want a girlfriend, your body isn't everything. It plays a huge factor. It gets you in the door. I won't deny that, right? Um Most girls that I've talked to would rather a guy that looks good with like a V tape or with a decent face card. But that won't keep her from what I've experienced and the people I've talked to who have dated before. And if you struggle with any insecurities, I'd also recommend you journal, maybe journal, meditate, look at your insecurity objectively and overcome it. Otherwise, you might end up chasing a goal that never has an end to it. I like that. Anyways, thank you for watching. I've yapped long enough. I gotta go do homework now because I'm in university and all. Yeah. Have a great day. I value your time and stay blessed. Bow, chica, wow, wow.